Hi, everyone. This is Bob Sorrentino from Italian Roots and Genealogy. Be sure to check out our Facebook group and our YouTube channel and our great sponsors, Abitativa Casa, Italy Rooting, and Phil Italy. And my guest today is Vincent Maione, and he is the chairman of the New Jersey Italian Heritage Commission. So welcome, Vincent. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate you having me.
Let's talk about the New Jersey Italian Heritage Commission. What is it? Why was it started? And what do you guys do?
Well, I appreciate you inquiring about our commission. It was established in two through the help of many Italians who are no longer with us, but it was established under Governor McGreevey, who signed the bill through the legislature, and it basically was a realization and an acceptance that there are about 30% of the state of New Jersey comprised of either Italians, of many Americans with Italian descent. And as we know, we know a lot of Italians. There's a lot of Italian communities in New Jersey. So it was recognized that we need to do something to make sure the heritage doesn't go by the wayside. So we were, chartered with the intent of basically developing programs that it was decided by the legislature that the students of our school systems need to understand the value and the culture of what Italians and Italian Americans have done, what Italy has done through the centuries, and what they've done has had an impact on the creation of the United States and the world. And so we, through our leaders right now, we are commissioned to have 19 members. We're down a few members, unfortunately. A couple of them passed away. A couple of them have asked as just resigned from the commission because they couldn't fill their commitment any longer. So we're down to about 13 commissioners. They get appointed by the governor, they get appointed by the Senate president, and they get appointed by the Speaker of the House. They have the appointments. We make recommendations to them, but it's at their discretion who they appoint to the commission. But our charter is to develop programs, and they're programs that talk about various things that Italians and Italian history, both in ancient Europe and ancient, Rome, up to the present day. We provide lessons of it's either cultural or historical or scientific, art, history. So we put them all on our webpage. It's on, it's at, ItalianHeritage.com. Anybody wants to go out there and find our lessons and our webpage. All the lessons are there. We promote them to all the school systems in New Jersey from K to 12, any school system, public to private. So we like to get them incorporated. It's not mandatory in the state of New Jersey to incorporate in the lessons, but we make them available. So the instructors, the teachers from K to 12 can incorporate them. They don't have to be part of the lesson plan. They can incorporate them because there's something for every curriculum. There's a session for every curriculum. They can incorporate it as they're instructing one lesson. They can incorporate our lessons into their lesson. And for 10, 15 minutes, every student in the state of New Jersey would have something that they would learn from their heritage. So that was our mission. That was our charter. That's what we plan to do. We have at least one. We'll have two this year, but we at least have one major event where we invite instructors, we invite, legislative leaders to our sessions. We call them our annual Congress, and usually for half a day. And it's usually at Rutgers because we are involved in Rutgers. Our office is housed in the university at Rutgers University. So that's where our office is in the Italian department at university. So and we try to have it usually centralized, and Trenton is pretty centralized in the state. And this year it's going to be October 25th. Let me make sure that's correct. Pretty sure it's Saturday, October 25th at University of Rutgers. And it's all on our webpage. So we plan on just highlighting, things, our lessons, because we just developed 5 new lessons about women, Italian American women, prominent Italian American women, and what they've done for their country and for society in general. So that's a quick sneak peek. We haven't officially gotten it out to everyone. We will get them out and make a public announcement that they're out there. They're on our webpage. They've already been posted to our webpage, so you can go out there and take a look at them. But we haven't made it public to all the instructors in the state of New Jersey, both at the superintendent level from each county and also to DOE, which is the Department of Education. So with these congresses, we kind of promote these lessons that we develop, and we want to get in more into the marketing of these lessons. We have almost 50 lessons. And unfortunately, I don't believe we only get to about maybe 5 to 10% of the population of the state, of the K to 12 population of the state. We want to get it to obviously more. We want to at least reach 50% of the population has at least they've had the opportunity to hear a lesson and get incorporated in their curriculum. So we want to get there in this coming year, the end of this year and next year. We want to do a lot more marketing of this, so every instructor knows they're out there. We plan on attending the New Jersey Education Association's event in Atlantic City, where many, many teachers across the state annually attend down in Atlantic City at the convention center. So during NJ week, we plan on having a booth, and that's how we think we can get to a lot of instructors at the K to 12 level in the state of New Jersey. So that's basically what our mission is.
Yeah, important stuff. I know you're gonna come to our club and present to our members about what you do, but one of the things that they made me the chairman of the cultural commission. I don't know if it's because nobody else wanted it or I am. No, I love it. I live this stuff, but and I think they realize that. But one of the things I want to do is do more for the kids within our club. I mean, we have our own place. You'll see it when you get there. We have a nice club room and we just completely we renovated with a bunch of TVs and tables and stuff like that. And I want to get more stuff for the kids. We do give out a lot of scholarships and we do a lot of good things with the kids within the schools within Ocean Township. But I want to bring them into the club and show them some of this stuff, give them some of these things because maybe the schools don't want to do it. And we have the opportunity to do it within our club, and maybe other clubs could do similar types of things.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, more you can do and utilize our lessons. You can incorporate those lessons. They are available to anybody in the state of New Jersey. Actually, since they're on their webpage, they're available to anybody on the planet. But definitely utilize those lessons. They're very well done. I think they're very well done. So I would definitely, anybody who listens to your podcast, Bob, let it spread the word. These things are available. They're out there. They're very well done, very professionally done. They can be incorporated, whether you have a session in your club or you have a session in, any of your organizations where you have youth there, whatever youth organizations that you want to have, you just want to incorporate the culture. We're not pushing, Italy or the language or the culture and the values that the country has brought to the planet. And obviously we're kind of, we're a little bit more ingrained in it, and we have a little bit more pride in it, and we believe it's the best. We're just trying to pass on what we believe is the best on to other people that have never experienced what we've experienced.
Yeah, it was a great experience. So I'm curious, do other states have commissions like this?
Believe it or not, there's only one other commission in the United States. Do you want to guess
Uh,
which one it is?
well, the obvious one would be New York, but I'm going to say like someplace that you wouldn't think of, like Colorado or Idaho or someplace like that.
Well, that would be the smart answer, right? That would be the obvious answer. New York or Connecticut, somewhere in the Northeast. Well, the good news is that it's not in the West, and it's only a little bit further south of New Jersey. It's actually Delaware.
Really?
Delaware is the only other state in the United States that has an official Italian commission. Believe it or not, I was shocked. I didn't live in Delaware. I lived in on the eastern shore of Maryland. but I know a lot of people in the state of Delaware. I mean, only the northern part of Delaware, which is Newcastle County. There's only 3 counties in the state of Delaware, and Newcastle County is the northernmost part of the state. And there's a lot of Italians in Newcastle County. But you go in the 2 southern counties, there's very little ethnicity in those 2 counties. But they have a commission, which is good for them. They do a good job. I know the chairman of the commission. He's a very, very nice man.
So I'm from New York. What's wrong with them?
I don't know. I mean, we're trying to actually. We have Bob DiBiase, which was he was he was my predecessor. So, and he was the chairman for almost 10 years. And now the reason he stepped off the chairmanship is that he wanted to concentrate on trying to get the message out to the rest of these states that you too can establish a commission around Italian heritage, and you can follow our lead on how we got it, in legislation for our legislators in the state of New Jersey. Follow our lead, and you can make it happen in your state. So he's on a quest to try to get as many other states involved as possible. New York, I'll tell you, and it's not New York, Connecticut is hot on the heels of getting a commission. And there's a lot of Italians in the state of Connecticut. But, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, obviously New York and New Jersey, they would be the 5 more prominent states that many Italians immigrated to.
Sure.
From the turn of the century, from the turn of the 20th century. But none of them have really gotten to the level of establishing a commission yet, except for us in Delaware.
Yeah, and I've been trying to get Bob on. We've been talking about it, but we haven't gotten a date yet. So we need to get him on too, and he could, people all around the country listen. So maybe we wake some people up if we have Bob on talking about his quest.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Again, it's important. And I knew there were a lot of Italians in New Jersey. I didn't realize it was like 30%. It's
about 30% of the population that would identify as from Italian heritage. So that's a big number. I bet you it's close. It's probably very close to that in other states. I can't remember. I think another state might identify even more, but I think we're one of the top 1 or 2 in the country identify the population being that much of Italian heritage.
Well, yeah. And I learned so much doing this. In fact, I was on a Zoom call yesterday with people from Omaha, and there's a large Italian population in Omaha, and people, we don't think about that coming from New York and New Jersey, that there are these enclaves all around the country, and big ones too,
California, as you would think. I mean, California, a lot of people immigrated to California. There's a big population of Italians in California as well. Obviously they don't have a commission, but they're all, Italians immigrated. Even in Louisiana, a huge population in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, that was a big port back in the day, back in the early 20th century, big port, obviously in Louisiana. So a lot of Italians went to Louisiana. Who would have thought that we'd be in the South? But, it's kind of similar to Southern Italy, Sicily, very hot, very, it's not as arid. It's very humid in Louisiana. I think Sicily is probably a little bit more arid than Louisiana, but still very hot. Very, very.
Well, yeah, and I interviewed. He's actually from Italy, but he's done so much research on Italian immigration. He's like kind of an expert on it, and he said that after the Civil War, they were trying to recruit Germans and Irish to work on the sugarcane, and they couldn't handle it. So they got some Sicilians and realized that they could handle the heat and the humidity. And so that's when they started bringing more of the Sicilian population over. And one of the most amazing parts of the whole thing was Arkansas. I don't remember his name, but the person who, I guess, found the Long Island Railroad brought a bunch of Italians to Arkansas. And he was going to actually leave them this plantation, but he passed away 2 years later, and that all kind of went bust. Arkansas of all places, right? You don't think of Italian pop, but they're there. We're there. We're everywhere.
Exactly. They're everywhere. They're all across the planet, but they all go to where the work was. They all go where they can make a living.
Well, Vince, this has been fantastic. I loved it. I mean, we could probably go on for another 4 hours, but but seriously, I mean, I would love to have Mom and Dad on if someday they want to do it and talk about Naples, growing up in Naples. and any of your cousins in Italy, especially the one in Ferrara, because
I know.
like I said, I loved it there. I thought it was just beautiful.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, Bob. It was very nice. It was very nice.
And one last time for anybody who wants to find the Heritage Commission or get in touch with you or Margaret or anybody, how would they do that?
Well, so you go on our webpage, you can find us. There's all about everything we do. It goes into all our programs. It goes into all our lessons. And then there's a way to get a hold of Margaret, who's our executive director. Margaret Fontana is our executive director. She does a great job for us, very responsive. Anybody wants to get a hold of her, email is on that webpage. So if you guys want to go out to NewJerseyItalianHeritage.org, www.NewJerseyItalianHeritage.org.
Super, super. All right. Well, thanks again.
All right, thanks.